where we're discussing Sakhicha Kriyaya, working carefully. Sometime we shall continue on this subject. Working respectfully and carefully means practice of Satipatthana, and also respectful of the time and many other things. It is a wide subject. Even in 1 second, with the activation of mindfulness, if you can analyze, you will find many things, valuable things. And if we speak from the theoretical aspect, you will find that you can build up a lot of fantastic energy out of that. And that also it overcomes or removes impurities, mental corruptions. If you know that, then you will become extremely encouraged. There will be acceptance and faith and confidence, leading to chanda, desire to undertake the practice. And this desire will be led to the exertion of energy, virya, extremely. Today we shall continue to talk about this thing, how in 1 second, with one moment of mindfulness, how it is valuable and worthy you can gain out of it. When you are noting every arising object of attention in the body, beginning with the main object of rising and falling while you are sitting, you are recording or registering these mindfulness, these objects, with one time of registration, with one registration or one noting. You are energizing or increasing this sanya, perception or recording. When you are noting rising without missing, you will be recording this rising phenomena as well. So too with falling object. In 1 minute, you are registering, you are recording by noting. If there are 60 risings, there will be 60 recordings, 60 noting. If there are 60 fallings, there will be 60 times of recording or registration. Same thing goes with other objects as they rise, so as not to miss them. In this way, in 1 minute, the 60 times recording will take place. As much as you are able to register them, you are bound to strengthen this perception, known as Chia Sanya, perception, steadfast perception, or steadfast registration, which is very important. If you are able to note so as not to miss them, you are bound to activate your mindfulness. Of course, there are various causes for the activation of mindfulness. And one of the causes is a Tira Sanya, steadfast mindfulness, steadfast perception, which is the nearest cause for the activation of mindfulness. This Sanya, recording or registration, if it's continuous, it is bound to bring about very energetic power. Palavati becomes very energized. Just for one moment of recording will not be enough. It will not be very strong. It will not bring about this energy, power. Even if it's small, in a small way, if you know in a small way, or in a short time, it will not bring about a powerful energy. Only when you record continuously a lot will it bring about steadfast recording, Tira, and which will lead to sati, mindfulness. As has been given in the text, this one of the qualities of mindfulness, sati, apilapana lakkhana. The sati has the characteristic of not floating on the surface. Apilapana lakkhana, not floating on the surface. This is an indirect connotation, and implying that if it's not floating, it has to sink. That's why apilapana lakkhana means sinking, immersing into whatever object that you note. So it has, the mindfulness, sati, has a characteristic quality of sinking into the object. Where does it sink? It sinks into the object of attention, which you are recording or registering. Like when you throw a piece of cork on the surface of the water, it will only float instead of sink. But if you throw a stone, it will sink where it is thrown. Such is steadfast mindfulness, recording, steadfast perception, or recording, registering, whether it is good or bad, which arises in the body, whatever arises in the body, giving rise to steadfast mindfulness. Mindfulness sinks into the object of attention. So it is said that as the object arises, you sink into it. And in this way, the sati, mindfulness, sinks into the object of attention. Such is the quality in terms of the sabhava lakkhana, natural characteristic of mindfulness sati. And the nearest cause for this is thira sanya, steadfast perception or recording. When you are recording in this way, the object of attention which is recorded is registered in the register. So it won't get lost in the register. It will always be in the register. So you don't lose sight of it. Hence another quality of sati, mindfulness, as asamosa rasa, it is a function. Rasa means function, the function of not forgetting or not losing sight. Samosa means losing sight or forgetting, and asamosa is its opposite, not losing sight or forgetting. So whatever arises in the body is recorded. You follow all the way so that you won't lose sight of it. Such is recording every rising. If you record every rising and every falling, you will not lose sight of it. You will be grasping it. Same thing goes with other objects of attention as they arise. If you record them, they will be recorded in the register so as not to lose them. So such is the function of mindfulness, another quality, not losing sight of the object because it is noting and recording. Hence this expression, asamosa rasa, a function of not forgetting or not losing sight. So that it will not forget the arising and passing away of these psychophysical phenomena. It will not lose them. You will not miss them. Such is the value of mindfulness, quality of mindfulness. This mindfulness sati has two kinds of manifestation, paccupatthana. The first of the two kinds is visya vimukha bhava paccupatthana, the state of the manifestation of the state of coming into face to face with the object of attention. And the second one is areka paccupatthana. As for the first one, visya means object of attention, the one you are noting, the one you are recording or registering. The immediately arising object, freshly arising object, presently arising object, such as visya, object of attention in a single way, or noted object. Abhimukha means coming into face to face or phasing, or coming into and being concurrent with the freshly, immediately, presently arising object. So you come into face to face with the object of attention. When you want to know a person, you face him or her, you come into face to face with that person, you look at the face first. And in that way you come into face to face with that person, whom you want to know. In other words, you become concurrent with that person's face. So too with the noting mind, sati, it comes into face to face with the object of attention. That means it becomes concurrent with the object of attention all the time, continuously, without missing. And the noting mind has this quality of sinking as a natural characteristic, and not losing sight. If it's not losing sight of the object of attention as its function, then it will be manifested as coming into face to face with the object of attention. And such is one of the manifestations, one of the qualities of sati as being manifested, namely Visya Vimukha Bhava Pachupatana. Another manifestation, Pachupatana, is Araka Pachupatana, the manifestation of guarding or protection, the nature of hindering, preventing the disturbances, impurities, mental corruptions, making it secure, the nature of making it secure, the nature of making it free from impurities, the nature of stabilizing it, stilling it. And what does it prevent? What does it protect? It protects the mind associated with sati, mindfulness. And from what does it protect? It prevents impurities, it protects the mind from impurities, such as the mental corruptions like aversion and other things, other mental corruptions. Those states of mind which impure the mind, which corrupts the mind. If the mind becomes defiled, then the mind will not be stable, will not be still, it will be restless, the knowledge will not be clear, or nothing may come out of it, nothing may appear in the mind clearly. Even if it appears, it will not be clear-cut, very dim and diluted, it will be very weak. So all these things, mental impurities, the corruptions such as raga, dosa, craving, aversion, the kamachanda, nivaranas, the hindrances of sense desires, all these are impurities. They are known also as chitasa upakilisa or penya dupali karana or simply nivarana, hindrances which hinder progress. So that these impurities will not enter the stream of consciousness, the mind is protected or guarded by mindfulness. Such is the quality of mindfulness in terms of Pachupatana, manifestation of guarding or protection. If sati cannot prevent such impurities from entering the stream of consciousness, then you are bound to open the way to raga, craving, aversion, and things like that. Then the mind will not be stable, will not be still. It will be shaking, vibrating, so that you will be losing your object and you will be losing your mindfulness. And if because of the loss of mindfulness, the loss of protection, you will be overcome by raga, impurities, craving, if the objects are appealing to you, as regards desirable objects, there will be elation, desire, craving, and at times, if you're coming into contact with undesirable objects which don't appeal to you, there will be aversion, anger, ill will, and so on, which will go to shake your mind, make your mind unstable, make your mind restless. Same thing with other mental impurities as they arise. So when you see them or hear them, things which don't appeal to you or which appeal to you most, you will be shaken and you will be moved and you become restless. So that if you are lacking in mindfulness, your stream of consciousness will be allowing all these mental torments to be tormented by these mental impurities. If you are shaken or become restless, made restless by these impurities, then if you are If you are not shaken by these impurities, then your mind will be energized, so that it becomes steadfast, like when you are digging a ground in order to erect a pole. If you dig in a very shallow way, if you dig shallow, then this pole or this stick will not be stable, will not be steadfast. It will move and fall down. So you have to dig deep into it and erect the pole so that it will not be shaken easily. It will not be able to move easily. It will be steadfast. So too with the mindfulness. The mindfulness is strong. And as much as you are able to sink deep into the object of attention, then your mindfulness will be steadfast. And you'll be building up a lot of energy so that your mind will become very steadfast. So, if you give priority to activation of mindfulness, there will be only skillful deeds, skillful states of mind arising in you, 1 time, 2 times, and so on, many times, developing it, multiplying it, enhancing them. Such is building up kusala bhavana. Building up kusala bhavana, that is practice of wholesomeness, of skillfulness in the mind. In this way, you become very much energized and steadfast. In order to bring about this kusala bhavana to flow continuously like a current, we need viriya, energy, which is very supportive, known as sisa, as a head, to be viriya leading, viriya led or viriya produced mindfulness. That's what it should be. That means viriya is supportive in the practice of strong mindfulness. Now, viriya means heroic energy, practicing without regard to the body and life. You are not afraid, you are not concerned about enduring physical pain, you are not concerned about life, you are not concerned about losing your worldly prosperity, worldly progress, worldly wealth. You have the courage, heroic courage, in order to let go the free-wheeling life, comfortable life, and with that energy, you note every arising object continuously, all the time, exerting energy. That is viriya, which is exerted every second of the time, as regards all the objects of attention as they arise. That is consistent, persistent mindfulness. That's what it should be. Now this kind of energy is not lax energy or sluggish energy, cool energy. It has to be energetic, alert, diligent, wakeful energy. Hence it is said the viriya sisa. The mindfulness has to be produced by viriya. It should be viriya produced mindfulness. Mindfulness should be supported, fully supported by the heroic energy. As much as you apply this heroic energy, you are bound to bring about the kusala bhavana. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and so on. In this way, you build up this power of energy, palavati, which brings about tīra, that is steadfast energy. In the Satipatthana Sutta, the discourse on Satipatthana, mindfulness is being given by the Buddha, and this expression atapa or atapi, which is translated as ardent energy, hot energy, heroic energy, and the one yogi who possesses this kind of ardent energy is known as atapi, the one who has this ardent energy, and one needs to possess this ardent energy. to note every arising object, you need this ardent energy, Adapi, not in the way of very lax or hesitant, slow moving, cool, relaxed manner. Instead, it has to be ardent energy, energetic energy, wakeful, diligent, in order to block the path to unskillfulness and open the way to skillfulness, kusala, so that there will arise this sati-produced kusala or wholesomeness. You will be flowing, the kusala states will be flowing like a current, kusala current will be flowing. Such is bhavana, mind development practice. And one has got to let these things arise in the beginning, to begin with. And one has got to initiate them and also continue to arouse the already arising energy. Such kusala deeds, such is bhavana. And in order to bring it about, viriya, ardent energy, is crucial. Now in the Satipatthana Sutta discourse on the mindfulness, the Buddha has given Adapi. Why has the Buddha given this expression, Adapi, ardent energy? In the commentators have commented that if one does not possess this Adapi, ardent energy, what can happen? There can be Anadapi, that means lack of ardent energy, so that one will not be able to practice with the exertion of energy, so that the mind will shrink and withdraw, so that one will not be able to face the difficult situations, for instance, physical pain, and instead of being able to face and come to face or deal with the difficult situations, either the pain in the body and so on, one will not be able to possess courage. One will be coward. There will be cowardliness instead of heroic energy or courage. For instance, when there arises, when one feels unbearable, with the unbearable, excruciating kind of feelings, so one may become worried, concerned that, I may contract some kind of disease, or I may even die, that sort of thing. So that one tends to shrink, withdraw from the practice. One will become coward. And such is the result of the lack of Adapi, ardent energy. And in other words, it is Tina Meda, sloth and torpor. Tina means not wishing to exert energy, but feeling slothful, wishing to withdraw, wishing to lose energy, shrinking from the energy, shrinking and not wishing to exert energy. And Meda, torpor, means although one exerts energy, one becomes very easily exhausted, so that the mind becomes very slimy and thick and viscous. In other words, one becomes sluggish, like when you cool down the butter, when you put the butter in the fridge, it will congeal very quickly. And if you keep it outside with the heat, it will become fluid again. So like the congealing phenomena of butter, so too the mind becomes slimy and thick. And that is the rendering of this China Meda. And when the China Meda are also hindrances to progress, and is given as China Meda Nivaranas. That's why it is being used as Adapi. Ardent energy is required by the yogis all the time, which is very supportive of the activation of mindfulness. If the ardent energy, atapi, is exercised all the time without gap, then there will be no such thing as sliminess of the mind, viscosity of the mind. The mind will not be viscous or thick, because you are applying the heat of virya, the heat of energy, like heating the butter, so that mind becomes very fluid, very energetic and clear. Such is the quality of virya, energy. In the text is given this virya. The Buddha has given this guidance to the practitioners of Vipassana Bhavana by giving this expression atantito. That is, not to be sluggish, excuse me, and not to be overcome by tina, maida, sloth and torpor. Not to be tormented by this hindrance to progress. This expression is atantito. Only when one is free from this tina, maida, will one be able to accomplish the work. Otherwise one will not be able to practice, undertake the practice. Even if one does, one will not be able to bear unbearable situations because of the lack of ardent energy. So even if one practices unavoidably, one will be lax and one will not be energetic. And then one will only take time but not able to activate, exert ardent energy. If there is no exertion of ardent energy, there will be no activation of mindfulness, so that mindfulness will not become steadfast. If the mindfulness is absent or weak or not properly activated, there cannot be any deepening of concentration. If there is no concentration, if the mind is not concentrated, then there cannot be any cultivation of knowledge. Knowledge will not blossom. Knowledge about the mind, knowledge beginning with the discernment of mind and body and so on. Even if knowledge, some kind of knowledge arises, it will not be clear cut, it will be only dim and deluded and not clear cut. It will be very weak. So as not to become weak like this, so as to be able to cultivate knowledge in a clear-cut manner, when one is practicing the Dhamma meditation, one has got to do it without being sluggish or lax, without sloth and torpor, namely atantito, without being sluggish, instead be energetic. So, hence this expression of ardent energy, atapa lunavriya, exertion of ardent energy. So, if you are doing it half-heartedly and in a cool, sluggish, lax manner, then being afraid of having regard to the body and life, then you will be doing it in a very cool, unconcerned manner, and you will not be able to cultivate mindfulness. Only with the exertion of energy, which is very helpful in the activation of mindfulness, will there be this steadfast mindfulness, and mindfulness will become very energized and very enhanced and activated. In this way, if the mindfulness is strong and steadfast, there will be this kusala bhavana flowing continuously like a current. In the beginning of the practice, if the yogi is just beginning to practice here as a beginner, or even if one has done in the past, if it's not doing it properly energetically, but in a very lax manner, then this expression 10D, the sluggishness will arise, which is the nearest, dangerous, close internal enemy. And the yogis, the first enemy, the first difficulty one has got to face is this kind of sluggishness. The yogis have to, the practitioners have to fight it out as a start in the beginning of the practice. And if one is not able to use an effective weapon or does not know how to use it, then one will be overcome by this sluggishness. One will be tormented by this sloth and torpor, so that one will not be able to practice energetically. Instead, one will become spaced out, and it will only take time, and there will be no progress. So, in order to fight out the sluggishness, the opposing weapon is vitakka. You have to use this vitakka, aiming. And this is very important. This is a factor which one has got to use. Vitakka, aiming, plus adapalana, that is exertion of energy. If one is able to apply these two factors, two things, then the mind will become very spacious, wakeful, energetic, and this mind will become very fresh. So these virya and sati, with the application of this virya, which is supported of sati, if one is able to apply them, then this kusala bhavana will flow like a current. It will become steadfast, and such is the value of one moment of mindfulness, if the mindfulness is done with the energy and aiming. So virya blocks the path to unskillfulness. It doesn't give way to unskillfulness. Instead, it opens the way to skillfulness, kusala. And as for sati, mindfulness, it protects the mind from mental impurities. It protects the mind from mental impurities. It protects the mind from mental impurities.